Welcome to From Beyond with your host, Glenn Boddice. Join me as we explore spirituality, self-help, and channeling spirits. Hello and welcome to From Beyond with Glenn Boddice, and you're in for a wonderful treat this week, as in this week's episode I have my co-host waiting in the wings, and we're going to be discussing in this show, what is this ascension all about? Also in this week's episode we have the channeling from the world of spirit, which sees myself becoming a vessel for spirit to bring their wisdom and communications through. And then later on in the show, we have this week's energy forecast reading, which will hopefully help you navigate your way through the course of this week ahead. So, like I say, today we're going to be discussing the topic of what is this ascension all about? I'd like to introduce my co-host, Christina Bloom. How are you doing? Welcome.
I'm doing amazingly well. How are you doing?
It's good to hear you're doing really well. I'm very chipper actually. The weekend that just went, I went on a gnome hunt, a gnome investigation, which was fascinating. And I haven't spoken to you about that, but I'm sure I will.
Yeah, I want to hear all about that. That sounds like fun.
And what about you? You've been off on your travels, haven't you?
Yes, I was just up on Lake Superior. I realized if you're in England, you might not know where that is, but it is as far north as you can go in Wisconsin without actually going into Canada.
Oh,
you'd have to cross a very large lake to get there, but without actually going into Canada. And it's beautiful. I was there during the Aurora Borealis display, which was going on all weekend, and more than the beauty of the colors, the feeling, oh my gosh, the air was electric. It was amazing.
Whoa. So you did actually get to witness it then firsthand?
Yes, sir, I did.
Oh, wow.
The thing was, I couldn't see it with my naked eye. I had to look at it through a camera lens.
Oh, I've heard a lot of people say that. Something to do with the way that the shutter speed is or something on the camera. It can pick up all of these like fluctuations in the colors a lot better than the naked eye can. Probably for the first time ever in my knowledge, we were able to see them here in the UK.
I was going to ask you about that. I saw someone post I think it was from Scotland. But
the thing was, I was in the perfect location because I was just finishing my second book off. Not putting a plug out there at all.
Plug away, my friend, plug away.
And anyway, I was out in nature. I was in Derbyshire, picturesque. It looks a little bit like Wales and Scotland, with the hills and the valleys and all of that. And I just had an exhausting day tying up all the loose ends there. And so I couldn't wait for it to get dark so I could close the curtains in the van and, hunker down. And so I did that. And the next morning, I went to bed a little bit early. Next morning, my phone's pinging and I can see everybody's posts about this, these anomalies. And I'm like, what? I slept through it all. I was in the perfect space. I didn't even see it, didn't even know about it.
Wow. Yeah, I was actually surprised you could see it in the UK or that it was visible in the UK because that isn't normal, is it?
No, never had that before.
Wow.
Interesting times. So let's jog on. We're talking about what is this ascension all about? I don't know about you, Christina, but this year's been very peculiar on many levels because of this very subject that we're talking about. And I want to ask you, have you noticed or observed how society has changed, this year, since the beginning of this year?
Yeah, I have actually. I've noticed that more people are wandering into like the psychic fairs. As you know, I do at least one a weekend, right?
Yeah.
So I've been noticing people are wandering in, kind of looking lost. Like, I've never been to one of these before. I don't know why I'm here. I felt drawn to come in. I don't understand what's happening. all of a sudden I can see things I've never seen before. I can hear things I've never heard before. It's like they're like the door opened and they're tuning into all of their intuitive abilities, but they don't understand what it is.
That's beautiful in itself, isn't it? And I
It
was
is.
just reminded of that classic line from the film. I forgot what it's called. No, it's gone. But the line is, "You build it, and they will come." Is it Field of Dreams? That was it.
Field
Kevin,
of Dreams,
yeah.
Kevin Costner. Yes.
You build it, they will come. So maybe the vibrations of you and your colleagues there drew them in as well.
Could be. Could very well be. I know that we have a lot of people at those. So.
But yeah, interesting that you've observed that with people just wandering in and like not knowing why they're there, but there's this curiosity there, and maybe that it's going to fill some void that they've just discovered by doing that. That's fascinating. I know from my own perspective in the UK, I've had a mixed bag of observations. There's been a lot of people kind of, like you say, walking around aimlessly. They're either in a daze and not paying attention to what's happening around them, or they're very angry. They're very angry and shouty. Too. And it's like, chill your boots a little. What's the problem here?
Right. Yeah. Well, as you know, I drive a lot.
Yeah.
So I am on the roadways a lot, and people are just, it's like you're right. They're in their own little world. They're not paying attention even to the traffic around them. They're not paying attention.
Oh, yeah.
Or they get very angry if, you happen to pass them when they let their foot off the gas pedal and they're going 20 miles an hour under the speed limit. So you go around, you pass them, and then they get mad and then they speed up and pass you again. It's just the weirdest thing.
It's this, they have to get one over you. That's been my observations. That ego mind is in full force when they do that, isn't it?
It sure is.
So I'm going to turn it over to you now, Christina, and ask you: have you had any personal experiences with this ascension that is occurring at this moment?
Oh my gosh! I mean, just recently, I've had a lot going on with. It's not just me, but I've confirmed it with other people where you just don't feel good. Your body just doesn't feel right, or you get a little bit of a cough, or your stomach is upset. And that's because the energies are raising so much and our bodies are trying to catch up to that. So our bodies don't feel good, a lot of fatigue, a lot of body aches. And like I said, it's me, but it's not just me. I have a lot of people who are posting online or sending me messages and going, is there do I need to go to a doctor? And I'm like, why are you asking me? I'm not a doctor. I don't have any medical experience. But intuitively, I always suggest, well, if you feel like you should, then go. But I don't see, I just feel like it's all of these ascension symptoms, and somewhere, and I forgot to dig it out for this, but I have a list of different symptoms of ascension. And they fall into different categories. So there's like the physical, the emotional, mental, spiritual, and societal. A lot of people are noticing that their old friends are just kind of drifting away, and new people are coming in. And as our vibration changes and raises, new people who match that tend to show up, and people who don't match that kind of just drift off.
That's interesting you should say that. I think I told you off air the last time that we connected about something that I experienced, if I can share that with yourself.
Absolutely, please.
And this is probably the scariest of ascension symptoms or experiences that I've ever had throughout my life. And I thought I was a goner. I thought I was going to go, make my transition. I was woken up probably about 3 or 4 in the morning, needing the loo. So I made my way to the loo, across the landing. And as I was there, all of a sudden my ears were buzzing as if there was a bee in my both ears. I got palpitations in my heart. It was kicking in and out of sequence, in and out of beat. That was making me feel sick. I felt all my arms and legs feel very weak. It's like I needed the toilet, but I couldn't go as well. And so there was that aggravation there. And I was disorientated. My eyesight was going in and out of focus, going from light to dark, as if you were adjusting something on a TV set, the settings. It was doing that. And so I couldn't bear being in the bathroom for any length of time. So I made my way back to my bedroom. And as I did so, I was finding it hard to stay in balance whilst I was walking. I was all over the place. I was having to hold on to the wall. Anyway, I went back in bed, and my heart was still beating out of sync. My breathing, I was out of breath. And so I was telling my guides, as I'm sure you would do, I'm not ready yet. I've got too much to do. I'm not ready yet. And they told me straight away, you'll be all right. It's ascension symptoms. Relax your breathing. Get your breathing. Slow your breathing down. And I listened to their advice, and everything went back to normal. I went back to sleep. But the fear that came up with all of that happening, all at the same time, it was like sensory overload. It wasn't very nice at all. Probably the worst one I've ever gone through.
Yeah, I get that. I don't know about you, but I have been getting downloads like crazy. Have you been having more downloads, like spiritual downloads, information?
Yes, I would say so. With the ringing in the ears, for me, it's usually my rule of thumb. If it's my left ear that's ringing, that high-pitched tone, that is the angelic downloads, the angelic community bringing forward that wisdom and information. If it's my right ear, this is connected to either a loved one or my spirit guides and helpers. So if that rings, then that's how I know where it's coming from, if you know what I mean.
Okay.
But yeah,
right.
I have, and I've had some rather unusual ideas pop in. But I haven't birthed them yet into this reality, but they're churning away there in the back.
Yeah, those are the things you keep to yourself until you can make it make sense, right?
Definitely. And also, as you'll be aware, the sooner you tell people about them, that's it. Everybody's doing it, and you haven't even done it yet, if you know what I mean. So it's in the line of work that we both work in. There is that, how can I put this tactfully? I like that. I'll have it.
Yeah.
Simplest form I can put.
Because there's the idea that all ideas are floating around free in the universe. So if an idea comes across, oh, well, that must be where it came from, even if it came from another person.
Yeah. Yeah, that's it. That's it. So let's dive into this subject matter. So what, in your opinion, what is the purpose of ascension?
I have done a lot of meditation on that over the past 4 years. And what it really comes to for me is that the purpose of ascension is that things that don't grow die. If there's no change and they're stagnant for too long, there's nothing there. And I feel like we have been moving towards this. This isn't the first time our planet's been through it. Yeah. I do feel like it's the first time most of us remember going through it. But without us moving forward, what is the point? Then we're still stuck in the eat, sleep, work cycle. And I feel like the purpose of ascension is to make us aware that there's more than that. That's not why we came to this planet. We came to this planet to experience things we already knew. At least that's the way I feel about it. Right? So I know when I'm in spirit what love feels like, but what does that feel like in action in physical form? That's where the experience is. And so as we come into bodies to experience what we already know, if we come here and then we're stuck in this eat, sleep, work cycle for 60 years, what was the point in coming here?
Yeah, we're just following.
There has to be more.
Previous generations, aren't we? Yeah.
Right. Right.
That was beautifully done. I've got to give you credit there.
Thank you.
Yeah, I agree with you with that. The purpose is to take us to that next level, to move us out of that stagnant energy, isn't it? and to maybe take us out of our comfort zones, because we all get comfortable with life, don't we? And like a nice warm pair of old slippers that we've had for the last 15 years. I don't want to buy any more like these ones, and it's to take
Even
us
though
out
they're
of
falling apart.
Yeah, it's just to move us on, give us that little gentle nudge in the right direction. Although the nudge I had wasn't gentle at all, as I was
No,
describing
it does
to you.
not feel gentle at all.
No.
I have to say, when I'm downloading, I go to sleep. Because first of all, I don't know what I'm downloading. I just know
Okay.
that I am because of the way it feels.
Yeah.
I'm basically just really spaced out, for a lack of a better way to say it. I'm not able to really have an intelligent conversation or even put two words together that make sense. I'm getting all kinds of different tones in my ears, both ears simultaneously.
Okay.
It almost sounds like binaural beats, if you've ever listened to those,
Yeah,
where it's like it
produce
bounces
that.
back and
Yeah.
forth. Yeah, and it's I don't know what's downloading until someone else needs that information. So I typically download the day before I go to an event,
Okay.
because somebody there is going to need the information that I'm downloading, but I won't know what it is until that person sits in front of me and the information comes out. It's like putting a computer on your program, program on your computer, the other way around. But it's running in the background while you're doing other things.
Yeah, and it takes
That's the way. Yeah.
takes your client's energy to trigger that information out of you.
Yes.
Yeah, I like that. That's beautiful. So where are we at with this? Yeah. So changes in lifestyle. Obviously, we've both spoken about the purpose of the ascension, to move us into a new direction. So there's going to be a lot of uncomfortable choices that we have to make, isn't there? And yeah, I'm going to throw it out to you as well, Christina. So,
one of these days I'm going to flip it on you and throw you under the bus first.
Well, please do. I'm robust. I can handle it.
I think the changes in lifestyle are subtle at first, where you realize that you're craving different foods or you're eating differently than you were before,
Yeah.
particularly usually a little more healthy than before. A lot of people just discover that they've stopped drinking alcohol or drinking a lot less alcohol, but they're not actually making a choice to do that. They're just moving away from it. I've noticed that changes in lifestyle, like I mentioned before, it involves friends, social circles. Those change.
Yeah.
And that's a change in lifestyle. People find that what they used to enjoy for entertainment doesn't work for them anymore. Something different comes in, particularly violence. As people are going through this, they no longer enjoy watching movies that are violent or, that kind of thing. And they're more into things that are more cerebral, documentaries or, more gentle movies or comedy. But comedy that's not mean, like even changes in the kind of comedy people enjoy. And I'm saying this because a lot of people have talked to me about this over the past 4 years.
Yeah.
Where it's like mean biting comedy isn't funny anymore. Where it has to be more just funny for the sake of being funny, not funny because it's mean or teasing or, something like that. Those are the kinds of changes. In sports, I have noticed that a lot of people have said, man, I used to really be into football, watching games and whatever, and it just doesn't interest me anymore. So I've had people, the competition doesn't interest people anymore.
That's interesting. Yeah. Again, I align with what you're saying. Definitely. The changes in programs that are on the TV, there's a lot of people that I know would used to watch these reality TV shows, but now they're seeing beyond the illusion of them and they're switching them off, and they'd sooner spend some quality time with people, having deep, meaningful conversations and sharing their thoughts, their ideas, having some fun that way. Most of them don't even include having alcohol in those experiences. Like you say, that's slowly being removed from their lifestyle, isn't it? I know as well, for me personally, I've made a conscious decision recently to remove processed foods out of my life. Now, I've always ate salads and things like that, but I did have the odd, processed food in between all of that. But now I'm making that choice. No, I don't want that anymore. It's making me, my body's rejecting it. It's making me feel not the best version of myself. So I've certainly noticed that. And like you were saying with the comedy there, different styles of comedy. There's a lot that's out there today. I'm not naming names, but they're very crass. They're very in your face. They use lots of foul language in order to get a cheap laugh. There's no sort of thought process behind it. Like, I'm a big fan of the old school comedies from the 70s and 80s, early 90s, where it was about a situation and do you know what I mean? The listener or the viewer would decide what was funny to them out of that was being presented to them. Whereas today's comedy, it's right there. You either like it or you don't, and it takes no prisoners. So I've certainly noticed that change. And again, as you said before about changing friendship circles, friends move away. Again, no arguments had, nothing personal in there. It's just the fact that you're on different paths, and you respect that. And like you say, when that space is created, usually the people that align with your current vibration comes into your life.
Yeah, I have definitely been noticing that. I mean, my social circle has changed. I don't know, I lost track, 10, 12 times over the last 4 years. Where it's just, I'm just in touch with different people show up, some people fade away. And like you said, there's no hard feelings. There's
none at all, no. Just love.
Disagreement. Yeah. You're doing your thing and I'm doing my thing. And, when we connect again, great. And if we don't, well, that's okay too.
Do you find as well, though, with this ascension process, there are moments of loneliness or solitude, for a better word, that you have to go through, you have to experience to uncover the truths that you've maybe hidden away, masked away over the years. And so the only way that you're going to get to know those is by spending some time alone and going inwardly. Do you find that at all during this process?
Yeah, I do. I've actually had that over the years. I mean, I've been doing this for more than 20 years. So,
you don't look a day over 25, by the way, so I don't know how that's possible.
I know you're lying, but thank you. I have found that I think that's why I love traveling by myself so much, because even though I'm driving a car, I rarely have the radio on. And it's just me, the car, the road, and whoever's in charge of this insanity. And, whatever higher power, God, whatever you want to call it. And I just really love that screen time because it's just me. If I want to pull off the road and go find a place to sit in the woods and meditate, I can do that. There's nobody that's telling me that, well, we have to be on time. Because I always leave plenty of time for that. Yeah. So I really enjoy that. And I do need the solitude. I have also discovered that unless I turn off all notifications on every electronic device in my home, I don't get solitude.
Yes. So, I hear you on that one.
Yeah, it's almost like I have to schedule solitude at this point in my life. It's because I can't function without it. I need to have that alone time.
Yeah, I was going to speak about that actually, the peace and serenity. It's like our souls now, as we've gone into this ascension process, they crave that peace and serenity. Obviously, with today's lifestyles, everything has to be done now. In fact, I feel as though it's sped up more so this year than ever. And like you say, with the notifications that you get, and people, because you're online, people want an instant reply back, and there's all this pressure, and then there's the pressure from bringing the household into shape and looking after the family. And you just crave that peace and serenity, just to clear your mind, clear your vibrations, and just slow down a little bit because it's moving so fast, isn't it?
It is. And Let's bring that up. Time. Time is actually moving faster. I know it is.
Yes, definitely. Well, we're moving into June, aren't we? We're nearly in June. Where's that gone?
We're almost to June. I know. Where did April go? I don't remember April. Like, it's gone. And I know if I look at my calendar, I can see where I went. But I'm a little, what's disconcerting for me is that I'm not remembering a lot of the things I'm doing because time is moving so fast. People will contact me and say, do you remember me? I met you at this event last month. And I'm like, wait, did I go to that event? I must have gone to that event last month. Yeah. Because time is moving so fast. I can't keep up with it. It's really insane, it seems like. How did we get here so quickly?
It is. It baffles me. It has been weird. In fact, I've been, like yourself, I've been to quite a few locations, and I always make a point of taking probably hundreds of photos just from basically so I remember I was there. Because like you, I can't remember that I was there. Once I've done something, I don't know about you, once I've done it, that's it. It's filed in the back of my mind. I'm in the now. I'm in the present. And I forget about all of that.
I think that's why, because we live in the now.
Yes.
We're living presently.
Yeah.
There's some future stuff. Like I said, I'm moving in 2 weeks. I would hate for anyone to walk in my home right now because they're going to trip over boxes. But, it's kind of a mess at this moment. But that's what happens when you're moving. You're taking things out, you're packing up, you're going through all of this. And I just feel like this whole process is almost happening without my presence.
Yeah, it's all happening too fast, isn't it? And you're playing catch up.
Right. Were we meant to live this fast? Is that what this whole ascension sickness thing is about? Is that we're trying to catch up so that we can actually process how quickly things are moving?
Potentially. That's a good question, actually. Yeah.
That has popped. Thanks, guides. That just popped into my head.
I would say, I've just got the word speed of light, that popped into my head. So there's lots of talk over the years about us connecting and living from our light body, where we don't need these heavy energies anymore, such as we've been speaking about, the heavy base processed foods, the low vibrational people, the experiences, the entertainment. And we're shedding, aren't we? We're shedding all of this old energy, maybe to catch up with the light body that we truly are. And I've heard people talk about that we won't hardly have to eat. We'll be drinking, water, obviously, to stay hydrated. And the foods that we consume are more sort of light-based or living, such as vegetables and things like that, light in their vibration. And obviously, where those foods have been produced, the energy in that location will also be transferred to those foods. So on an intuitive level, we're going to be selecting what we graze on a little bit differently, I feel. And
I think grazing is a good word because we are finding in my home, we don't actually sit down to meals anymore. We just kind of, we'll make the food and it goes into the refrigerator, and then when you're hungry, you eat, and it's not set on a clock, which is a little.
So you're listening to your body's wisdom then, almost, aren't you? When it's not because it's tea time, it's 4 p.m. that we've always ate at that time. No, your body's still processing the food from, lunchtime, maybe. I don't know. And we've just ignored that basic intuition, maybe, and you've connected in with it. Do you feel as well that, or have you experienced this, grieving the old version of yourself through this process?
Not in a while.
Okay.
I kind of feel like, and I think there's a lot of us in this position where we've lost people close to us, in the last few years. And that changes you.
Yeah.
When you lose someone who's very close to you, someone who passes on, or even just decides not to be in your life anymore, it's a grieving process. But I think grief, we're even starting to experience grief differently because it's not, these 5 steps of grief that we've been told forever. It's more just learning to live with a new version of yourself where that person isn't present in your life and isn't an influence like they were. I think that that's different. And you brought up the processed foods, and I had been off processed foods for a few years when I lost someone very important to me last year.
Okay.
And, that initial shock where you're not thinking about my body needs nourishment. You're not thinking about any of that. So other people were just stepping in and putting food in front of me, and I mindlessly ate it, which got me back onto processed foods. So now I am too in the process of removing those foods from my diet.
Oh, wow.
So,
interesting.
Yeah.
My guys gave me some information a few weeks back, and they kept on. Well, in fact, it was a channel that came through in trance mediumship. They was talking about we all need to focus on the word is, and just hold that in your vibration, because that will keep us grounded, more present, and it will stop us from going through this process of grieving, perhaps what ended, or what we used to be and who we are now. And they talk about all of those elements that we've gone through have been very crucial ingredients to lead us to this is moment. So it's just a simple word is, and it just sticks with you, doesn't it? I know it does me, and it reminds me sometimes when, say, if I'm overwhelmed with information, I just think of is, and I'm right back there. So yeah, it was fascinating when they brought that through the other week.
But are you going through grieving old versions of yourself?
I did. I would say, you mentioned April. I would say April for me was quite a heavy month, so to speak, where I was having periods of alone time. I was having to go through that process of sort of reconnecting with older versions of myself and looking at it from my is moment, if you like, and thinking, wow, did I really enjoy that? Did I really used to do that? Did I really? I can't even remember doing that. And it was almost like a movie playing in my mind. But once I got my head around that, I just thanked it for the lessons, the blessings, and I shedded that old skin, so to speak.
Yeah.
Well, Christina, unfortunately, we've come to the end. It's gone so quick. We talk about time speeding up. But as ever, I'd like you to share where people can contact you for either reading with yourself or any other of your services, if they wish to do so.
Great. Yeah. You can go to my website, ChristinaBloom.com. Super simple. I'm the same. I'm Christina L. Bloom, because I had to use my middle initial on Facebook, or Christina Bloom, Your Spiritual Advisor, also on Facebook. You can find me on Instagram, TikTok, somewhere else where I'm also. I don't remember where else I'm all over the place. So, yeah, if you could spell my name, Christina with a K and Bloom with 2 O's, you can find me.
That's wonderful. Well, thank you once again, Christina. This has been a deep dive conversation, even though we're just scratching the surface again. So you have a wonderful week, and hopefully we'll catch up soon with the next in-depth conversation.
Sounds fabulous. Thank you.
As ever, that was always a pleasure to connect with Christina Bloom and have these wonderful deep dive conversations. I just wish that we had more time in order to explore them further. But anyway, we're moving on to the next segment of the show, which is this week's channeling from the world of spirit, which sees me becoming a vessel for spirit to bring their communications through. So sit back, relax, and enjoy this week's channeling.
We would like to talk to you about the concept of self-love. Now, to many of you, you may have alarm bells ringing in your subconscious mind, but we're referring to appreciation of oneself for the beauty and magnitude of who you are and what you're here to achieve in your lifespan. We're talking about that. Now, a lot of you that are listening to this on some level will have, shall we say, a negative viewpoint on considering yourself worthy to achieve or be the best version of yourself. And that's understandable in many aspects, because you're putting your family, your friends and others before yourself. And we say to you that this is admirable. But in order for you to flourish and be the best version of yourself and shine through and live in alignment with your higher self, then you have to at some stage face the elephant in the room, so to speak. You have to learn to love and appreciate yourself. And every single waking moment that you happen to exist in is a miracle in itself. And so we say to you that loving oneself can be a combination of things. Loving yourself enough to have time away for clarity, for perspective, and greater understanding of your true essence. By decluttering your mind and allowing yourself to be present in the moments that you occupy, so that you are non-biased in your decision-making processes, and instead you are simply aligning with source energy and your heightened vibration. Loving oneself is taking care of one's physical, mental, and emotional health. Now, all of you that are listening to this will at some level have an imbalance in all three of those aspects that we speak of. Some of you, let's talk about physical health. Some of you do not take the time to exercise or allow your body to express itself in ways that it is yearning to do in order to expand and flourish and get the nutrients and minerals that it requires and the oxygen levels within the physical body that it needs. Some of you are ignoring that fact and simply using excuses such as, I haven't got time. There's not enough hours in the day. And we say to you, there is always time. It's a case of you making a conscious decision that you're going to show yourself that degree of love in order to fit that in your daily duties. We also would like to talk about the fact of nourishment, what your body requires. The vitamins, the minerals, the substances that it needs. Water as well, keeping hydrated. Again, many of you will reach for the quickest option and go for prepared meals or food that does not take next to no energy or effort from yourself. And we say, we understand that this, why you make this choice, but in making this choice, you are neglecting parts of the nourishment that you require, because a lot of those foods, although they keep you energized to a certain degree, they're actually dimming your sparkle down, because these foods contain other substances that are, shall we say, not alignment with your physical being. So that's one aspect of loving oneself. Another one is gaining mental clarity, not taking on too much, allowing space to occur in your daily duties so that you can reflect, so you can let go of these energies and emotions that are potentially trying to slow your vibration down and make you a smaller version of yourself so that you do not shine and rise to the best version of yourself. So it's very important that you spend some quiet moments alone and just observing these mental thoughts and emotions that are cascading around you. If you do not, I'm sure many of you listening will have at some stage experienced what we would term as burnout, where the physical and emotional and mental body can no longer take any more, and so it crashes and burns, so it switches itself off of all of those elements, those faculties, where you feel drained, exhausted, where you have no more energy to give, and you find it near on impossible to complete any tasks or be organized in any way, shape, or form in your life. And this is because you've neglected that part of you, that self-love that is very important, that you need to adopt into your life on a daily basis. It's not all about serving the ego, as many of you perceive that's what we're talking about, and it's not at all. Self-love is being of service to others. You cannot be of service to others unless you take the correct steps in honoring yourself. Then you will have the energy, the resources, the inspiration that comes to you. And it comes to you for a direct reason, not for personal gain, you must understand, but it's for healing, inspiration, guidance, and sharing that beautiful energy of love that you have allowed yourself to be a part of, out into communities, out into the ether, out into the universe. So it's very important that where it all begins with self-love, because without all of that, none of these beautiful things could come into form. We also would like to address looking after one's personal appearance. Now, everybody has their own preference in how they wish to appear outwardly to the world. And we say that is beautiful that you have those options. However, we would suggest that whatever your preference or style happens to be, that you make a point of making yourself the best version of yourself as you can in that moment. Not only will it give you a lift in your vibration, it will give you confidence, it will allow you to project oneself in the dimension of the realm that you're currently located in. It would allow you to communicate clearly, more responsibly in that vibration, simply by making the act of looking after one's physical appearance with the clothes that you wear, the hygiene, the style that you have. That is part of your energetic charm and signature. So you would do well to look after that. And remember, this is not an egoic exercise where I'm better looking than them, they're better looking than me. No, that is just nonsense. There is no competition. There is simply, I'm better than I used to be. You see, you're continually expanding and developing as a soul. And so your natural response is to flourish in every moment. But we thought we'd address this subject matter because there's a lot of you that are going through lots of changes in your life, and you're looking externally for those answers and that help and that guidance, and in many cases that love that you seek, the love that you already have, the love that's within you that you have been neglecting to spend time with, the love that you have, as we've suggested, to look after oneself and be the best version of you as you can in each and every moment. So we hope this information finds you well. We're going to hand you over to another communicator who wishes to speak to you. All right. I hope you don't mind me popping by. I was just popping by and I saw a light on and I was allowed to come in and talk through you. Through the vessel, should I say. But my purpose is coming through and again just making you aware of your true essence, your nature, and not to avoid being who you truly are. Because there's a lot of outside influences that are trying to dim your sparkle and make you fit into a jigsaw that you do not belong into. You see, you are all individuals. Yes, you are all part of the soul. You are all part of the source vibration. Of course you are. But you are all individual aspects of that, feeding back wisdom and information from your experiences. And so everything can grow and develop as a result of you doing that. Now, if there's lots of people all doing the same thing at the same time, which is, it's quite regimented, isn't it, in itself there, but you understand that there's not going to be, sorry, I'm going through, not going to be, no, that's fair, you're not going to be a lot of change there, is there? So, it's good with his lot of variety, because the varieties are lots of lessons and lots of inspirations that you're feeding back to the source creator. We apologise for this blending of multiple beings today through the vessel, but we're trying to get forward lots of information as quick as possible, because we understand that time is a factor with this communication. But my message, or as shall I say, our message to you, is just to simply be, to be, and listen and hold on to that word, because by being, you are existing. You do not have to have an agenda. You're just simply being in that moment. And that is a beautiful place to be. That is where you'll get all of your inspirations, your guidance, and there will be no resistance there walking along your timeline in your life. You'll simply tiptoe from one aspect to another. And this is how it is meant to be. Anyway, we've outstayed our welcome today, but thank you for listening. We leave you our eternal love and blessings. And if anything we could leave you with the message of is love yourself. Love yourself, and everything and everybody will benefit when you start to come from that perspective. We leave you our love and blessings. Goodbye for now.
As ever, that was a fantastic communication there from Spirit. And I think it was a very important message that we all need to be reminded of from time to time, and that is self-love and treasuring our purpose and who we are and what we're here to do and achieve. And also removing our own obstacles. We're all guilty of doing that, aren't we? Of second-guessing our intuition, second-guessing our truth. And instead, this puts us on the back foot all of the time. And it stops us trusting ourselves. So again, we're not giving ourselves that self-love that we deserve and that we need. So it's nice to have that reminder in this transmission. And also the reminder of looking after our health, whether that's mentally, emotionally, physically, it all adds up, and not to feel guilty about doing it, because by being present and being observant as well will actually benefit all those people around you, whether that's your immediate family, whether that's your friends, your colleagues, your social circle. Everybody will benefit once you start and show that level of self-respect and self-love to yourself. So I feel it was a very prominent reminder there from Spirit in this transmission. So I'm very grateful for hearing that. Anyway, we're going to move on to the next segment of the show, which is this week's forecast reading. So hopefully this will align with you and help you navigate your way through the course of this week ahead. Sit back, relax, and enjoy this week's forecast. Hello, my name is Glenn Boddice and I'm a spiritual medium, and welcome to this week's energy forecast reading for the week commencing Monday the 20th of May 2024. Now, those of you that have watched me do this before will know that I connect with my spirit guides and helpers, and also link in with the wisdom of the Angel Tarot card. So what I'm about to do is just shuffle the pack and allow a card to come out for this week's energy forecast reading. So here is your card for this week. I'm now going to link into the energy of that. First of all, my guides are telling me that there's going to be a great ascension with you this week, to the point where it's almost as if your spirit guide, your helpers, your higher self are going to be there helping you navigate your way through the course of it. And my guides are showing me the symbolism of water wings. So support, help, to help you float and go through these next changes coming through. With that being said, they're talking about your emotions. I do feel as though a lot of you are going to be increasingly sensitive throughout the course of this week. So don't allow yourself to be triggered by the words and decisions and actions of others. Simply rest into your own power and be gentle with yourself, as this is going to help you through this week ahead. Also, I'm being told to tell you that this week, what you will find is that you will be making more decisions based around your own personal preferences rather than following the herd and doing what everybody else is doing. And there will be people that will be observing you, thinking you're strange, thinking you're weird because you're not doing what everybody else is doing. However, it doesn't sit right with you. It doesn't feel right to you. So you're going to stand in your own truth more this week. You will also have an inclination to get yourself out and about and to do more physical exercise, whether this is in the form of walking, even if it's around the block where you live, or just getting out and about that little bit more just to get that blood flowing around your physical body. I also feel that whilst you're doing this, you're going to be receiving lots of inspiration coming in from your spirit guides and also your higher self. And this is coming in a form so that you can logically look at your life and see where it's thriving and where it's not doing so great. And I feel as though with you taking this time away, walking, exercise, your mind's going to wander and you're going to formulate these decisions. And it's just going to help you recognize where you are in your life rather than denying or masking over various aspects of where you're at. I'm also feeling in terms of love life, romance, I do sense that those of you that are single currently, you're going to notice that your heart chakra is going to soften and is going to open up. And in fact, you're going to feel those stirrings, shall we say, that energy opening up, and you're going to feel that magnetic draw to people more so this week. And you're going to allow yourself to actually bear all, so to speak. I'm talking about you explaining who you are and just letting people into your own little world rather than sort of hiding yourself away. Those of you that are in a relationship will see you questioning and justifying the relationship that you're in. And there'll be certain things that will be triggering you to maybe think otherwise, you know, if you want to change certain aspects within that relationship, or maybe call time on that relationship. My guides are certainly bringing all of this information forward, and they're saying that you need to trust. You need to trust in this circumstance, in this situation. You're being triggered for a reason, and this is because you are ascending, you're changing your vibration, and you're moving into new energetic frequencies. So with that occurring, it's going to have an impact on all facets of your life, particularly that of an intimate and also emotional level. So it is to be expected. So just follow your truth and trust the feelings that you have during this transitional phase. I do sense that this week is also going to be challenging for those people that do like their routines and are quite regimented, as there's going to be quite a lot of things that are going to go wrong. Mishaps are likely this week. And actually they're gifts in disguise, because they're there to actually to get you out of that rut that you've been in, and to see a situation and your lifestyle slightly differently than perhaps what you have been doing. So it is a blessing in disguise. So just breathe into it, relax into these mishaps, and you'll be guided and you'll be shown a new way of existing on this vibration. So let's turn over the card, see what the card has to say for you. Okay, so the card reads at the bottom, it reads, an amazing opportunity. Be bold, courageous, and optimistic. Now is the time to take action. Do what you're passionate about. Well, with that being said, I feel as though it sees you clearing out the wheat from the chaff this week. And like we were saying earlier, it sees you standing in your own power, even if it doesn't resonate with anybody else. I feel as though this is where the opportunity is, that you're aligning with your higher self. And also, I do feel as though a time to be bold, courageous. Yes, that's talking about you moving out of your comfort zones there as well. So taking a look around the card, we've got the number 1 at the top. So I'd like you to research the angel number 1, as I feel that is very relevant for you this week. It's also talking about looking after yourself and trusting yourself and making sure that you're okay within yourself, mentally, emotionally, and physically. We have over the top here a symbolism of a flame. So that would indicate passion, new beginnings, healing, and guidance there as well. At the bottom of the card, we've got the words, or it reads, shall we say, me. So again, this is telling you to put some focus and attention on you this week, rather than diluting your vibration and giving your energy to other people. It's telling you to turn it in on yourself and start making decisions for yourself and take responsibility for that, rather than pointing the finger of blame for the society and the situations around you. This side of the card at the bottom, we've got the number of 0. So to me, that almost represents starting from beginning. Starting from the very beginning. This feels like the new chapter that you've been wishing for and wanting to come in. I feel as though this week is the start of that new chapter beginning. So with all beginnings, there's fits and starts, but know that you are guided, you are protected, and also you'll be encouraged and also pushed in the direction that serves your life path there. So you will find, like we said, mishaps are likely, but they're there to serve you this week, as they will put you on your pathway. Looking into the artwork of the card, we've got red moving into orange around the edge of the card. That indicates grounding your energy, being present, and also passion as well. And watch for that passion igniting your heart chakra. I mentioned this earlier about it opening up and expanding, and actually moving on a different timeline with your emotions and with your love life this week. So again, trust that energy and be bold and be courageous and allow people to get to know the true essence of who you are. This way you will be surprised by the outcome. The orange represents the sacral chakra. That's talking about the energy. It's talking about you taking your power back and also not using alternative substances to fuel your fire, so to speak. I'm talking about energy drinks, sugary based foods. I feel as though you need to tap into your own vibration rather than reaching out externally for that additional help. In the artwork itself, we have this young boy there holding a wand. The boy is talking about masculine energy. It's talking about the young version of yourself, and it's talking about you taking that power back, having that sense of leadership, but also resting as you begin this new chapter in your life. The magic wand is talking about you taking that power back, setting your intentions, and actually casting those out into the universe and trusting that what you desire is coming in divine timing there. There's lots on this card. So there's a dragon there as well. That's talking about you breathing, speaking passion, and also making sure that you're keeping your movements slow and minimal and keeping your energy to yourself there. So that's what I picked up for this week's energy forecast reading. I hope that aligns with you. Thank you for watching. If you've enjoyed what you've seen on here, you would like to support the work that I have a buy me a coffee link either above or below this video, which is a virtual tip jar, and so all of your generous donations will be gratefully received and used in accordance with the spiritual work that I do. If you're wanting any of my services, head over to my website www.glennboddicespiritualmedium.com, or you can find me on Facebook, Glenn Boddice Spiritual Medium, and message me there with your inquiries. Join me every Monday, 4 p.m. Greenwich Mean Time, with my radio show From Beyond with Glenn Boddice, talking about all things spiritual, paranormal and self-help on www.pulsetalkradio.com. Have a fantastic week. Bye for now.
It sounds like we're in for an interesting week ahead, doesn't it? I hope that helps you navigate your way through the course of this week. Can I thank you all for listening to this week? And can I send my big thank yous to Christina Bloom, the co-host, as I always love connecting with her, and it's wonderful to hear her insights and wisdoms come through. So thank you, Christina. Really appreciate your time and your energy and your wisdom. If you've enjoyed this week's show, please tune in next week. And it starts at 4 p.m. Greenwich Mean Time on www.pulsetalkradio.com. So you can tune in there. In the meantime, have a fantastic week. Whatever it is you're doing, if you want to contact me, go over to www.glennboddicespiritualmedium.com and message me there. Take care, everyone. Bye for now.
Thank you for listening to From Beyond. For more information about what products and services Glenn provides, go to glennboddicespiritualmedium.com.